Hello, this is Kimberly Bailey-Tureaud, and thank you for tuning in to Enterprising People, the podcast from fabulous Las Vegas. We are sponsored by SilverStateClub.com, affordable dental insurance. Be sure to look them up. And each and every time we do our podcast, we talk to interesting people from around the world that are successful in business, life, and just doing very, very grandioso things in this world. So I hope you keep tuning in to Enterprising People, the podcast. Now, today we have a wonderful, wonderful gentleman. He's written two fabulous books. One of his books is Creating Generational Wealth, what the super wealthy know that you need to know. And also, he's written a book, Preserving Generational Wealth. And that's Mr. Douglas Eze. And he has done so many things in the world of business and life insurance and financial management. So we're so pleased to have him here today on Enterprising People. And Douglas, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, wonderful, Douglas. Thank you so much for joining me once again. And I want to mention also, you've written some fabulous books, Creating Generational Wealth, What the Super Wealthy Know That You Need to Know, as well as Preserving Generational Wealth. So, those are two wonderful books teaching people about money and also creating more money for their legacy. But tell us, why is that so very important?
Yeah, it's very important because one, we work hard every day, and what's the point of doing all the work and not leaving some for your children's children? So we had to write the book, the first one, Creating Generational Wealth, back 10 years ago. And then it took 10 years to write the second one called Preserving It. Because one thing to create it, so as I continue creating my generational wealth for my family, I had to say to myself, well, we need to now figure out to preserve it because I started looking at my girls and start seeing all how they spend money and how quickly people spend your money. So I'm like, let me preserve it. Let me write a book about preserving it because I put a system together to allow me preserving my wealth. Just in case I come back. After I'm gone, I want to make sure I come back to that money that I built because nobody was there when I was building it.
Yes, yes. And what's the biggest misconception about money? What people really don't understand? I consider you the guru of financial management. You've always talked about this for a long time now. But what's the biggest misconception you believe?
Yeah, folks don't respect money. They make money, they allow money to disrespect them, and they also don't respect money. So here's the deal. One thing I tell folks is this: money is just like water. When you pour water in a cup, the water is like, what are you gonna do with me? Don't just leave me here making me lazy. If you don't do anything with me, I'm gonna go find somebody else. And if you ignore the water, it's gonna start evaporating. Same thing with your money. When you work, we all work hard for our money. It's not easy to make money. Once the money comes in, the money is asking you, now, I want you to protect me so I can protect you. So once you start understanding that money is your slave because it wants to work for you. Unfortunately, so many people don't see money as their slave. So what they do is they give away their money so quickly or they put it in the wrong places. And parking money in the wrong place that has a lot of holes in it. Don't matter how much money you gonna make, doesn't make a difference. If there's a lot of holes in that bucket that you're parking your money, it's going to escape. It's going to leave you very fast. So I like preserving and protecting my money so that my money can protect me in the future, and that's what we teach.
Yeah, yeah. And I know people say, okay, what is the method? Where do I know that I'm really giving my money away? I remember a while ago when I interviewed you, you talked about even just flying on the airplane, the points, and people don't take the time to see their points that they might gather, and that's money once again. That can be utilized for Christmas or what have you. But what are the key ways you see people just throwing their money away?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the areas that we talk about, there's 5 areas that I found that a lot of folks, families, businesses are throwing their wealth away. One, the first one is taxes. Taxes is a big part. If you think about all the wealthy families, they're always thinking for ways and looking for ways to reduce and minimize their tax liability. The second area that we've seen that so many people transfer their wealth away is mortgages. Mortgage is a huge wealth transfer that occurs because of the way the people have been brainwashed about home ownership. The third one is qualified plans, 401k, IRAs, 403bs, TSPs. Those areas, a lot of wealth is being transferred away unknowingly and unnecessary. The fourth one is how people pay for their children's college, college education plans. And then the fifth and final one is how we make major capital purchase. Major capital purchase is anything your paycheck cannot buy. For example, you just mentioned going on vacation, getting on an airplane. Well, a lot of times when you're traveling, you want to go on vacation to have a great time. What do? We go into our savings account and we pull all our cash out because we've been told save the money for your vacation. You save the money, but folks forget that first of all, saving money is very difficult. It's very hard to save money. A lot of people, don't realize how hard it is to save money. But then when you finally save the money, what do? We go in and we withdraw all that money out, putting us back in a position of zero. And now we have to start over to save again. What that has done is it messed up the compounding interest of the money. So it's always good to identify what are the areas, where should I save? Where's a good place to save? So one thing I say, if you're looking for a savings account where you want to save money, there's four things you got to look for in that savings account. Four things. The first one I call the four C's. The first C is compounding interest, but with a checkbox that says uninterrupted compounding interest. That's the first C. So you want compounding interest. The second one is control. You want to be in position of control. Never give up control of your money, because your money is saying, listen, protect me so I can protect you. That means you need to be in control of the money. Don't let the money control you. The third one is collateral. Collateral capacity. I want to be able to use my money as collateral to loan money from someone else, so I don't ever touch my money. Because if I'm growing my money, I don't want to touch it. I want to make sure it's guaranteed returns, that no matter what happens, I'm not going to lose my money. And the fourth one, the final one, is cost, opportunity cost. We always got to think about, every time I spend a dollar, what would that dollar be worth in the future if I'd be able to save it? That's what we call opportunity cost. So if you have those four C's and you identify an area that can allow you to control your money, earn uninterrupted compounding interest, have cost, opportunity cost on the money, and you'd always win.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned a lot of great things. Also, I know that you're an expert as it pertains to developing a foundation and trust, and even life insurance can be utilized for anybody to grow their potential business or to start a business. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so one thing that we teach is the importance of life insurance. Unfortunately, so many people, you know, get the information from companies that's pushing their own agenda. For example, there's three companies I always talk about that are pushing their own agenda. The first one is the government. Most people don't realize the government is a company. That's why we have a president and a vice president. You know,
Yeah.
every business has a president and vice president. Now, what is the agenda of the government? Now, government, when we think about government, we think about the people that work there. No, no, the government is an institution, just like a bank. A bank is the second company, you know. So when you think about a bank, you're thinking about the bank teller and the bank manager and all those. No, no, no. The bank is a business, just like
Yeah.
your business, your LLC. And the third one is the media. Again, that's another entity. So the three of them got together and said, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have the media brainwash the American people and sell them a product that allows us to do what? Use their money. Because when we think about it, banks don't print money. Most people think banks print money. No, there's no printing machine in that vault. All the bank is doing is waiting for you to deposit money to them, meaning you're loaning money to the bank. Banks make
Yeah.
money when they take your money and they loan it out. They make money off of interest. And then the government, do they print money? No, the government don't print money. They do what? They rely on one of the strongest organizations that a lot of people don't like, the IRS, to bring revenue to the government.
Yeah.
The taxes. Everybody
Right.
pays taxes in America. It doesn't matter what country you're from. You're gonna pay taxes if you're here.
Yeah, definitely. And but when we think about our life insurance, I mean, one time you explained it to me, Kim, that's your personal bank. And can you just expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So when you make money, your money is saying, listen, protect me so I could protect you. Well, the only place I could have my money do two, three jobs is a properly structured life insurance policy. A properly structured life insurance policy will allow you to do what? Pack your money inside of it, and then it gives you a protection on your value. Most people forget that you are the investment, Kim. You're the investment. You take risk every
Right.
day. We're taking all kinds of risk. Every day we go to work, we could get sick, we get, God forbid, an accident. Anything can
Yeah.
happen. If that happens, what happens to your income? Everything stops. So life insurance comes in to protect your value. That's the first thing. The second thing, depending on the type of policy a person designs for the client, some of them earn dividends, some of them are based with the market. So you're also earning interest that's better than a traditional bank. And then a lot of other things that comes with insurance, it protects your money from
Yeah.
taxes. Because if you think about it, you go to the bank and you deposit money with the bank, and you have $100,000 in your bank account, you earn an interest on that 100,000. Guess what? You gotta pay taxes every year on the money, so you're really losing money. Plus,
Mm.
inflation will affect your money. And then what happens with a bank? You go in tomorrow and you're gonna make a down payment on a house. You're gonna go back and withdraw all the money out and put it in a house that doesn't earn any interest, because you've been told that, hey, you're gonna earn equity. But most of us that own homes, we start understanding, especially, just unfortunate, nobody ever talks about it, because we as human beings, the mistake we make is we're not our brother's keepers. We talk
Yeah.
about all good. The only time we come together is when something happens to someone, but we keep missing the point when it comes to the reality that's happening. A lot of homeowners, if you ask yourself how much money you've already spent on your home, fixing it up, doing all the stuff that you're doing to live in the house. And then when you think about all the things you're paying on that property, taxes, insurance, all those things, nobody advised anyone when you were buying the house all the responsibilities that come with it. Now, we're saying
Mm.
home ownership is not a good thing. No, no, we're saying when you're buying a house, buy it as an investment, because it's real estate investment. That's a product. But you got to understand, whose product are you selling? Because think about it, when we sell the house, we still got to pay property tax, we still got to pay all these things, all the
Mhm.
taxes that comes from selling the property. You're going to do a lot. There's a lot of fees that come out. But with life insurance, I could refinance my life insurance. Most people say, what do you mean you refinance? I take a loan against my life insurance. I call the insurance company and they send me money, and they use my cash value as
Mm.
collateral, just like a mortgage, just like a bank. When I want to
Mhm.
refinance my house, the bank uses my house as collateral. The only problem is I got to qualify to get the money from the bank. I got to go
Right.
back and show them my credit. I got to have a good income. I got to have all this. With life insurance, I don't have to do all that. It's stress free. And I like that.
Mm. Yeah, I think I like that too. But Douglas, we're in a really crazy time. This new administration, people are even scared about their 401ks. They're scared about so many things, inflation, and just going to buy some eggs at the grocery store. So we're in a different time. But what do you say as far as personal financial management at this really crucial time, given this new administration?
Yeah, just like I tell everyone and a lot of my, clients that come into my space, one thing that we say is this. First is you got to be in control of your family business. Because most people forget that every individual in America that has a social security number is a business. Unfortunately, for so many
Mm-hmm.
people, when they work a job, they don't look at themselves as a business. No, you are a
Mm-hmm.
business. If you have a social security number, you are a business. You're a business partner with the US government. Now, you cannot do anything with what the president and the vice president are doing, because you know why? Because they have folks in Congress and Senate that's their job to manage them. The only person you
Mm-hmm.
can manage is your family. So the first thing you want to do, and which is what we help our clients do with our company, is help you. We help you get out of debt in less than 9 years, including your mortgage, your student loans, your credit card. Because so many people are slaves to debt. And because you're a
Yeah.
slave to debt, you don't have savings, you miss out on a lot of opportunities that might show up, and you become trapped because you have a 401k that you cannot access the money in the time of an emergency. That doesn't make any sense to me. It never made sense to me, where I have to get permission to take money out, my own money, out of my own retirement account. You're gonna get hit with
Right.
penalty, taxes. I'm like, why are you taking your hard-earned money and putting it in prison? Well, we're seeing it right now where your money is going up and down. Your money said protect me, but did you protect it? Put it in prison. He didn't mean put me in prison. He said protect me. Put me somewhere where you don't have to be penalized. You don't have to pay
Right.
taxes while the money is growing. You can do all these things. But unfortunately, people don't hear that in the media. The only thing they hear in the
Mm-hmm.
media is the government and the bank product. Every financial advisor tells people put money in a 401k, buy real estate, build wealth. But if you tell yourself the truth, you realize, why is it that I cannot get money out of my 401k when I want to get money out? Why is it that I
Yeah.
cannot get money out of my house? I have all this equity. I can access it. The only place you could access money fast is a product that nobody talks about, but they're the richest in the world, the US life insurance companies. Nobody talks
Oh.
about that. I don't know
No, they
why,
don't.
but I've been talking about it for over 30 years.
Yeah, yeah, I love that control. And also we hear a lot about people that do own homes to take your home out of your personal name and put it in a trust or I believe a foundation. What's your feeling on that?
Yeah, definitely. So, there's different types of trust in America. There's over 80 different types of trust. So it just depends on what their goal is. Now we in my book Creating Generational Wealth, I talk about the difference between a trust and a will. And when should you start thinking about getting a trust for your family? Of course, just getting a trust is not the only answer. The first thing, I actually have a video I'm about to post today that's going to be about, if you don't fund the trust, because there's so many people that have died, they have a trust, it's just a document, but they never funded it. And because they didn't
Mm,
fund it, guess what happens?
what?
Everything still goes to probate court. A trust
Oh.
allows you to create privacy for your family. And also, there's trust that allows you to also have what they call medical derivatives things. If you're laid up in a coma, what's going to happen? Now, here's the thing. For those of you that might say, you know what, I'm not ready for a trust, is the best trust you could get, the best one that anyone can get, is a life insurance contract. Why do I say that? Well, life insurance does not go through probate. You could leave $1 million to a family member that you want to, and guess what? They do not go to probate. So if you're thinking about, I want to leave money, because at the end of the day, your family wants money. They don't want the house because they're going to sell it to get money. And they
Mhm.
sell it 9 times out of 10, they sell at a discount, meaning wholesale price. I want my family to sell the properties that I do own at a retail price, not at a wholesale price.
Mm. And so many people think that even with a trust or a will and also the life insurance, that, no one can really access that until they die. Is that not a real thing? People can access their wealth even before you die. And I think you kind of said that, but I just wanted to kind of lean on that a little bit more.
So with life insurance, you can actually access money right away, depending on how it's designed. The key is in the design. Unfortunately,
Okay.
not every insurance agent understand how to design it. They don't design it properly. Just like real estate. Not every real estate agent, everybody's a salesperson. It doesn't matter who you're talking to. Lawyers are salespeople, doctors are salespeople, the bank teller at your bank is a salesperson. They're selling product. The question is, who is educating you on the product that you're buying? Before we own a real estate company, so before we sell real estate to a client, we educate them. We make sure that they can fully afford to buy the property, not just jump in based on emotion. Oh, I like the property. No, buy it because you got to be buying it based on knowledge. So a trust on itself is great, but what type of trust did you desire? Did you have? If you just have a regular living trust that is tied to your social security number, it's a living trust. It only becomes active when you die. When you
Oh,
die, it becomes an irrevocable trust. But while you are alive, it's a revocable, meaning you could make changes to it. Well, if you could make changes to it, guess what? Other people could make changes to it too, meaning
yeah.
somebody could sue you while you're alive and go after your asset. So it's not an
Wow.
asset protection trust, it's just a probate avoidance trust. But there's other types of trust. We take that on a more high level because we have client companies that do trust, that understand it correctly and do it legally because that serves the client correctly. It's all about understanding the system and able to walk through the system. It's not everything you hear on social media that you jump on and get.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And again, in that book that you wrote, Creating Generational Wealth, What the Super Wealthy Know That You Need to Know. And as we're watching it, I'm going back to this new administration because with the tariffs and all these things that are taking place, what is said from this our new president is that he is trying to create wealth for the country, the United States, by bringing manufacturing back to America. What is he saying, or what is our belief about that? Inherent belief about creating wealth that is so right or so wrong.
Yeah, so again, it's like me coming into somebody else's company and trying to tell them how to run it, right? You
Right.
know, the president has whatever, he knows what he's supposed to do. He came in, looked at what's going on in the company that he just became the president of, and he's going to handle whatever the situation, because his job, the US president's job, is to protect America and also to bring revenue to America. Now, every company is going to have different presidents come in and do their own agenda or whatever it is, but the main agenda has to stay the same: protect the United States of America and do what? Bring revenue to America. Yes, there's tariff, all these things. Listen, that's not my business. I need to worry about the tariffs in my household. And the only way I could continue protecting the money coming into my house, going out of my house, is by me minding my own business. At the end of the day, listen, I try to manage what I control.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the president of I could shout all I want on social media, I could talk all you want. They ain't listening. They ain't hearing us, right?
No.
All the politicians, the Congress, the people that we've elected as Congress folks, as senators, that's their job to
Yeah.
manage the president. If they cannot do it, then guess what? Election is coming. Guess what we do? We vote them out. That's all we
Okay.
do. But once you put somebody there, that's why it's so important for people to research before you put people in power. That's all it is. That's all I'm saying. So I'm managing my business and making sure my clients don't lose money that they've worked hard for. Because
Mm-hmm.
the when you have money, you got a voice. You have no money, you'll be a beggar. That's all it is.
That's true, and that leads me, Douglas, and I want to hear more of your backstory. I want people to really know how you went from the bottom all the way up, and I want you to explain it because it's really a role model for building wealth.
Yeah, definitely. I'm an immigrant, came into America from Canada. And the thing was, at the end there, I was very young age, didn't know nothing about the country, America and everything, just didn't know. So I was waiting table at IHOP, washing cars, basically just trying to survive, and one day I got handed a business card. This was years ago, over 34 years ago. So I was given a business card and I read it and I went in and I talked to the lady and she told me about financial services. And I got in, started working. I was riding the metro from one end to the other end, getting people to fill out surveys about college education plan for their kids. Just talking to all kinds, everyone. It wasn't easy, never easy. Making money ain't easy. But one thing I realized that I needed to do was increase my mindset. See, folks, at the end of the day, don't matter how much money you make, you could work hard at your job, all day work hard. But if you don't increase your mindset, your knowledge, you're not going to make the kind of money you want to make. So if, one of my mentors always says, if you want to make a fortune, increase your mindset. If you just want to make money, then you just work hard at your job. So that's what I did. I started tapping into folks that are smarter, reading books that I needed to read to help me increase my mindset, understand this industry correctly, instead of doing it the same traditional old way that most financial folks are doing it. I had to step outside the box because, again, you are smart as the people in your circle. When I realized quickly that most of the folks in the financial service industry that were in my circle were just listening. It's like the blind leading the blind, because a lot of them have debt. They have mortgage debt, they have student loan debt, they have credit card debt, they have car payment debt. So if they have all these debt and they're slave to debt themselves, how are they going to help the consumer that's in debt as well? So I had to say, you know what? Let me stop listening to these guys. Let me go find a different circle of people that are in the same financial service industry that is teaching it differently. And I started researching wealthy people because I'm like, you know what? I want to be wealthy. If I'm going to learn, I need to read books of wealthy families. I didn't care who the person was. I started reading their books, started seeing how they think, their mindset, what they're doing, how they built the massive amount of wealth that they've built. And that's what I did. And it helped. And we're here.
Yeah, yeah, and you have a multi-million, probably $1 billion company at this point. I know that you have done so much to help so many people even get into the financial industry, and you just keep going on, and I'm just so very proud of you, Douglas. And now, if people wanted to get in touch with you or learn more about the company, how do they do that?
Yeah, so I'm on all social media as on IG. I am Douglas. On IG, I'm Douglas Eze, Easy with the blue check. You can find me on Facebook on Douglas AC Eze. On LinkedIn, I'm there as well. But most importantly, the easiest way, you can go to CEODouglas.com.
Uh,
CEODouglas.com, or go to DouglasAze.com. And you can find all my stuff
DouglasAze.com.
there.
Okay, I love it, Douglas. Thank you so much again
Yeah.
for really giving us all of that informative information. Thank you. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, Douglas. Wow. He is really a superpower. Each and every Tuesday, you'll be hearing from another enterprising person in business, in life, and just doing some very positive things, making this world a better place for us all. Again, we want to thank SilverStateClub.com for sponsoring enterprising people from fabulous Las Vegas. And I want to thank you, too, for being enterprising people.